Live. Oh yeah, there's something like now you're live now. So there was just a major delay. Okay. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Should be like a few more seconds and it should be online.
Usually the delay is 5 seconds.
Fine.
And now it's live.
Now it's live.
Okay,
All right.
let us check the voice quality.
Voice quality should be better than ever. Better than ever.
Yeah, it's good.
It is better
so
than
can
ever.
you stand up so that we can check?
Sure. Sure. Okay, let me take a look at this. So it's a pretty serious delay. So
It looks good.
yeah, it looks good.
Not at the usual 5 seconds, I believe.
Sure. Okay.
Still have almost 10 minutes.
Yep. So okay, guys. So should we go and get some coffee from cafeteria? Yep. All right. So okay, guys. So should we go and get some coffee? Can I leave this one here?
Okay, I'll be here.
Okay, you're gonna be here. So if somebody else is coming, just say that we are in the cafeteria drinking this coffee. We'll be back momentarily. So you need to follow me, guys. Sorry. No, I have everything that I need.
How many tries do you have for each one? How many hours?
It seems like just a quiz, but we didn't do all of the.
What if there is one today? What if it is uses project or something like that? Are you writing a thesis or something?
No, second year of PhD.
Yeah.
It's too soon to write the thesis.
Okay, okay. Still something to do.
Alright?
Still something to do before writing.
Yeah, like at least another 2 years to go.
Yeah. Is it still interesting or?
I don't know. It's something that when you start it, you have to be done with that. You can't leave
Yeah,
it half
yeah,
around.
yeah. That's understandable. That wouldn't look good anywhere.
Yeah. But somehow it was strange. I didn't think that you would start your master's right away. I mean, yes, when I talked to you,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
first year,
Yeah.
and you said that because I had this impression that you were taking your time with your bachelor's.
Yeah, it took me 7 years. I finished this, well, I was working for like 2 or 3 years of that full time, so I didn't study at all. So I took my break already, you could say.
Yeah.
So now I just want to finish the school and then get on with my life.
But seriously, those were still subjects.
Yeah, maybe.
You're free there?
Yeah,
It's a good combination.
Yeah, no, it's maybe the version. Yeah.
What is this morning? I have only just one problem, but I got one question wrong. I know which one because I tried with my rating. There was one big question about this control valve, but it's just not numeric. How to find the right position. And then because that was the only one I stuck. Uh, 25. So that question was five more, the big one.
Okay, Mustafa, so you got nothing.
Nah.
Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome. So you made it happen. So it was you all the time. Okay, so let me see about this guy. Here. This, by the way, this voice quality with the new mic system is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really is good. Really is good. All right, so we're gonna put this on. It's a käynyt saamaan. No, okei, so mennään hakemaan. Can you try to put this on? There's,
I don't know, like you
because
disconnected once.
why is this because that's the problem thing. I think it is on. I think it is coming. Like your hair dryers.
It's on. Have you tried?
It is on. It looks like it's on.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you tried disconnecting it from there and connecting it again?
Because this guy looked that it is connected, so it seems to be okay. But for some reason it's not doing anything at all here.
Just yeah.
Hit this one, you mean? Okay, now it's blinking.
Yep.
Ah, here it is. I don't think I need to really do any drawings, but if just in a case. Yep, very good. All right, guys. How it appears. Everything looks good.
Yep. Let me just double check it again. Yep.
Okay, so can you please monitor? No, don't, because I'm tall.
Yeah.
Don't put it this direction. Put it, pointing in a roof. That's good. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. So there is 3 more students is coming here momentarily. Problem in the cafeteria was that they went out of the coffee because they were surprised. Because the lady running the cafeteria was surprised because there were nothing at all, and then all of a sudden we came in, and she went out of the coffee. Okay, for online participants, how many online participants we have?
32.
32. Okay, for online participants, for your information, we have here not exactly a full house, but there's more students than usually, and each one of them are enjoying the coffee and something sweet, some donut or whatever they find it in the cafeteria. Okay, good. Thank you, Mustafa.
When do you think? Because you said that.
It's gonna take. It depends on how we're gonna do the discussion, but I think this is taking roughly 60 minutes.
Okay.
60 minutes. It could be a little less than that, but roughly 60 minutes. Okay, guys, ready? Respect. Respect. Very good. Okay, something a little different today. And something a little different today is a career counseling. And this is what I'm hoping you guys to interact with me. So if there's something that you want to ask more, or something that you're not completely happy what I'm about to say, let me know. Let me know. Just shoot it. No need to raise your hand or anything like that. But we need somebody to monitoring if there's any questions, comments from online participants. So can you be my YouTube officer? And again, okay, you're the YouTube officer. Okay, very good. So if there's any comments, let me know. Let me know. Okay. So as I mentioned to Mustafa, I have 20-something slides. Some of them will be brief. There is no need to discuss about the details of some of the slides, but some of them we need to discuss in details. So estimate is 45 minutes to have full hour, so roughly that much. Of course, depending how active you are. Okay, career counseling. I'm going to explain a little bit about the nature of the business. What are the opportunities ahead of you? And then I'm going to give my hints, which is a little bit soft, to be honest. So those are make your life better kind of level instructions or hints, which I don't like so much, but something that I found out to be useful in careers that I've been monitoring in my career here in LUT and before. And then we're going to move on something that is going to be very important topic you to discuss in the very near future. That is your master thesis project. And why is that? That's simply because your master thesis project takes you to two different directions. And that's why the decision how you're going to organize, how you're going to do your master thesis project is important. And eventually, I'm going to give you a few hints how you can execute, how you can make a good high-level master thesis project. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Okay, so let's get started from the nature of the business. You guys, within year and a half, 2 years max, you're going to get your master degree. And then there is a very important decision. Actually, it's already at the time that you are selecting your master thesis topic, you need to make a decisions about what you want to do. You want to go in industry or you want to continue in academia. Statistically, when you look at how many masters this university, like not university, but the Department of Mechanical Engineering is producing, each year we are producing roughly 100 masters. This year it's going to be 102 or 101. Last year it was 100. But the idea is that the number is increasing a little bit, but roughly 100. Out of the 100, roughly 10 continues in academia. Rest will go to industry. So the majority of the students, clearly, 90%, will go to industry. And of course, the industry comes with a certain benefit, but this decision that you need to do very soon is going to be important because the life is changing in academia radically. And it being able to, let's say when I was a younger, I'm not saying young, but younger than I am at the moment, it was possible to move back and forth from industry to academia and back. That was possible at the time. I don't see that to happen anymore. So decision is almost like final. So once you do your decision, then particularly if you go to industry, your academic career is pretty much done. Pretty much so. And why is that? I'm going to explain this to you momentarily. But if I look a little bit forward, looking ahead of what this previous slide was showing, what has happened in university doctors. It goes in such the way that those ones, these 10 out of the 100, the ones that are continuing to academia, many of them, 7.5. Let's say 7 moves to industry once they got their not master, but doctor degree. And the rest will continue in academia. So out of the 100, there's only 3 that continues in academia. So it's not that much. It's not really much. But like I mentioned, the life is changing radically in a sense that you can move from academia to industry when you're young. Let's say young at a certain age, under a certain age is still possible. But the other way around is very, very complicated because each of the open position university makes is always asking, how is your academic accomplishment? And academic accomplishments are how much papers you have been able to produce. And if you go to the industry, it's clear that you don't produce papers, but you work for the company. The company typically is not excited about making scientific publication out of the work you guys do. And that's understandable because there may be a certain level of confidentialities work you do, and even there's not confidential, why would they? Because this is a little bit of waste of time and effort to publish this to world. In some companies, they see that as a little bit as a marketing tool. Problem is that journal articles, this kind of like academic production is only monitored and is only followed from academia. So it's not even working that well as a marketing tool because the audience for academic production is very limited. Okay, all right, so universities, the ones that are continuing the universities, majority of them will continue in a research line. There is only like very few, 1 year, one person, maybe a second year, no person at all, is going to something that is called teaching line. Teaching line is extremely rare case. Most of the people continues in academia, they stay in a research line. Okay, so that's a little bit of like a big picture. That's what it is. Yes, sir.
So I have a question because the teaching line in applied sciences you mentioned here.
Yes.
The requirement, I think they're requiring like at least 5 to 10 years experience to go to applied science university teachers.
Correct. So that's a little bit of difference. So if you consider University of Applied Science as a academic career, and that in some universities they require some practical knowledge. Practical knowledge you can gain being a researcher in university, because if most of the project that is carried out in university are in collaboration with industry. So that's typically, or maybe enough. Maybe sometimes they need this really hands-on experience from the industry. That really depends on the University of Applied Science. But University of Applied Science is different than university. And it's different in a sense that if you look at the current professors we have here, even in our department, mechanical engineering, all the new hiring we do, none have any experience from industry. That's not necessarily the best possible situation, but competition is pretty severe to get the professorship in university. Just to give you an idea, a year ago we put an open call about whoever is in the field of mechanical engineering is eligible to apply. We got more than 70 applications for a single open position. So the ratio is 1 to 70 something. So it really is a hard competition. So it's extremely difficult to get a position. And what matters the most is that how is that you do your papers. That's how we selecting people, and almost like none of them got any experience from industry. It used to be in the past, again, when I was a younger, it was such that it was highly appreciated. And most of the open calls, it was put it in a writing that experience from practical industrial work is highly appreciated. Sometimes it was put it in a writing mandatory. Not anymore. I haven't seen this kind of the calls anymore for a while. They might say that it is recommended, or it may be positive aspect, but that's about it. Nothing more than that, which makes things different. Again, my career went such that once I got my doctorate degree, I went to industry, and back then it was still possible. But back then you also need to understand that the life was very different, because my doctoral dissertation was university ID, like if I remember correctly, like 50 something. So I was the 50th something doctor from LUT University. Come on, that's like nothing. Nothing, because you're comparing how many doctors we're producing each year at the moment. Isn't that, I think this number is like 60 or something, doctors each year. Even in mechanical engineering, 10 doctors each year. So back then it was different life, different world. And the competition wasn't that severe. Thanks God, because then I survived. In the current atmosphere, I don't know if I would survive. Hard to tell. Okay, any other comments, questions? Yes, sir.
I mean, why once you go to the industry, you can't back to the academia? I mean, you can start from zero as, let's say, a master students that doesn't have any paper, and you are on the same level of a master student. Let's say.
Right, right. The question is that, so why is this that? Why is that if you go once you're holding the master degree, and if you go to industry, why is it so difficult to come back to academia? And that's simply because, something that is not mentioned, the age matters. So if it becomes to be experienced, I mean, that doesn't matter if it is a couple of years, that's okay. But older you get, harder it becomes, because your peers in academia, they have already developed quite a bit in their academic career, and your developments have been in a little bit of different direction. So that's why it becomes to be difficult. But as moving from holding a master degree become to be a doctoral student is theoretically possible. Mentally, very difficult. Mentally is very difficult because first of all, your salary will go down significantly, very significantly. I don't know how much you can make money in the industry, but here the salary for a first year doctoral student is something, I might say this incorrectly, but I'm thinking like 2,600 before the taxes. And then in industry is probably how much you can make if you move to industry.
Bachelor holders, they're paying like close to over like 3,000.
3,000 bachelor.
Yeah.
And the master's is 3.5.
They have to pay someone to work per hour, they have to pay €6 more.
6 years more. Yeah, so it is radically smaller than in industry. That's what it is. Also, what is typically expected is that you need to give your soul, particularly if it comes to be my student. I'm expecting to give your soul to me, and I'm taking it. I'm going to put it in behind the locked doors, and I'm going to give it to you back once you got your degree. So what is this? So your level of commitment is very, very high, very high. And this guidance, I'm sure you have seen these stories, movies, Hollywood movies about how much more fun it is to be a researcher and a doctoral student. Forget about it. It's very guided. It's very, very detailedly guided. So the freedom you have is extremely limited. Let me tell you a story. I spent my postdoctoral studies in US, and I met one of the former students from the same university a while ago. And he said, I think this was a little bit extreme statement, but he said that he'd been guided, he'd been supervised 2 times per day. First time he met his professor in the morning to give an instruction what to do during the day. Next time he met his professor in the evening to get an instruction what to do during the night. So think about the life like that. So the level of commitment is pretty severe. Okay, let's continue then. Okay, one more thing about this big picture, master level student, doctoral student, postdoc, how they are different. Master level student learning skills are the most. Like this course is a good example. I'm expecting you to do nothing more but learning what I'm explaining. I'm not explaining you to deliver anything like combination of things. That's not required here. But I'm hoping you to learn and be able to possess a new subject matters. That's for master level students. And it's kind of okay if you have a knowledge from different disciplines, but again, we are not expecting you to be able to combine the knowledge from different disciplines as a master level student. Storytelling skills, which is something that is very much overlooked. People don't understand that it's extremely important to be able to tell you why and what you're doing. And it's much harder than you might think that it is. Being able to answer the question why you do your work is overly difficult for more than a half of the doctoral students we have in LUT University, honestly. So it's so difficult because the answer is not, if you ask what's the big problem you're solving here? Typically the answer is the big problem is a multi-body simulation. Seriously? Is that the real big problem, the multi-body simulation? If that's the big problem, let's take it away from this planet. No, I meant that we can use the multi-body for something else. So they really have a hard time to form an understanding what's the big problem and why they do the work. So it's much harder than you think that it is. Okay, but this is part of the storytelling skill. So you need to be able to tell the story such that others can understand it. Harder, but you can learn it by doing it. Telling the stories. And one of the best ways to learn this is, guess what? Teaching. Teaching is a fantastic way to learn that. Because you can tell, I need to tell you this. During the COVID time, I was teaching in my basement office. And I really got the understanding, I got the feeling that, oh my God, I'm the best teacher ever. Because, no communication. Everything went well. And I was unable to see any of the faces of the student. And the first year that I came back to university, I looked at this horrified face from the student, I was like, oh yeah, now I understand. Now I understand. This is much harder than I ever thought. And then we went back to the basics. But it's a part of the storytelling skills. Okay, doctoral student, then you need to be able to start producing, delivering things. That's also holds when you go to industry. So you need to be able to deliver, and you need to be able to follow the instructions and so on and so forth. Extremely important. And knowledge on big picture is extremely important. This is something that I sometimes feel bad that people are making themselves to be very specialized in extremely narrow field, which is great. But you also need to understand that the markets in this extremely narrow field is narrow, is limited. So instead of taking yourself in extremely narrow field, would be at least as a plan B, good idea to be aware of the big picture. Now the big picture, how is that you can get aware of that by selecting the courses in such a way that they are supplementing each other. Not just, something that is like computational dynamics more and more and more, because that's going to be never-ending story. Okay. Now the storytelling skills are important already in our doctoral students, and then in a postdocs, you need to be able to be a leader. So you need to be able to show your leadership skills. The same holds in industry. So you get started industry as a certain position, it becomes to be team leader or whatever. You need to be able to sell your stories, and you need to be able to get the funding from your supervisor. And now it's extremely important to be able to combine the knowledge from different disciplines, and the skills to tell your story is the must. Okay, here comes these soft instructions. Of course, it's clear, so you need to work hard. There's no doubt about that. So if you really want to proceed in your career, don't relax. You need to work hard. That's clear, I'm hope. But something that helps you to take your efficiency another level is that you need to look at your time management. This is something that is really, really critical. And the instructions we're giving our students is make a plan about your time management. We're giving even the percentage that we're expecting them to spend each of the things. And here comes the difficult thing. You can make different kind of planning, but what is even more important is to monitor it. To monitor your time usage. That's my recommendation. It doesn't need to be like very detailed Excel sheet or anything like that. Just put it in a writing like each day, this is what I did. And you will be surprised. You will be surprised that many of the things you do is not necessarily taking you to be a better person, a better student, but it's a little bit of waste. So that's an exercise that it makes sense. Learn from criticism, extremely important thing. It doesn't matter where you go, because the criticism is the way to learn. Simply, that's what it is. I know that sometimes it hurts. It physically hurts. It's been a case is like a few years back, I got the evaluation from my big dream. I've been applying to get the position in Research Council Finland, and this position is called academic professor. And I have applied already 8 times. 8 times I've been declined. Next year, January 8th is going to be deadline for my next application, which is going to be, I'm going to apply again, of course, because I'm not going to step away. So the Academy of Finland have no other choice than accept me eventually. Last time when I got my reviews, there were 2 positive reviews, and the one was so critical. It was saying that this person sucks big time. Nothing good from this guy. And it physically hurts. It hurts to read it. And you cannot learn nothing. You learn nothing in the same day. But next day, when you look at that, you are no longer as pissed you were in the beginning. You started to look, okay, maybe there's some point here. Maybe there's something, some truth here. When you look at this week after week, then you can start learning. But the learning process hurts. But you know that. Without pain, there's no gain. That's what it is. Same holds for the criticism. And if people are criticizing, don't take it like, oh my God, this person is evil. Maybe this person would like to make you to be a better student. Think about it this way. That's what it is. That's what it is. The worst way to penalize, again, I'm thinking about my doctoral student to be pleasant all the time and say, fantastic guys, everything goes well. And when the 3.5 years is done, they say, this wasn't good at all, so you need to go. I'm going to let you go. That's very unfair game. So you need to be consistent and you need to be able to give a criticism and learn from the criticism. Okay, don't put too much stuff on your plate at once. That's extremely important. You need to be able to limit, because you think that you're going to solve everything at once. Not going to happen. Manage your time well, build networks. Build networks, because career is about people. You need to get to know people. That's why these tools that I'm not a big fan of, these tools like LinkedIn, they make sense. They make sense. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I found my LinkedIn password a little while ago. And I've been because it was like at least 10 years that I never logged in, never. But I logged in, so I feel myself that I'm back in social media. I don't know how you feel. But the LinkedIn is a good way, because you need to build your stories, and more than a LinkedIn, because in my mind, social media, which includes the LinkedIn, is the most anti-social way to communicate. So it's not really social media, even though that is called like that. But get to know people in personal level. That's why I feel a little bit bad that, we have this guild. There's what is the name of the guild in mechanical engineering? This. Correct. What's a big problem there is even the name is in Finnish. I feel that is this club is a little bit. I know some of you got maybe officers in this club. I'm still gonna say this. The idea of the club is to be inclusive, not exclusive. Why? Because it's benefiting each one of you. You want to make it exclusive? I don't think it is a good idea, because you and others, you need this network. And it's surprising that you do need it. So that's why I feel bad that the name is this KRK. It should be mechanical engineering, something that is put it in a writing in English, because make it inclusive. Say every single one, why don't you guys are invited to be here? Let's communicate in English, because this is what I learned. English is not a problem to our students. It's not at all a problem. It's a little bit of mindset issue. But the mindset, this networking is important. And that's why even as a department head, I'm very happy to support this guild. No problem. I will be able to support more financially if I see that this is more inclusive. Here's a hint. Okay. All right, define your strength and your weaknesses. Of course, each one of us, we have a strength and weaknesses. You should not get discouraged about your weaknesses. People have this tendency to look at their weaknesses and say, okay, I must stop this. I cannot do this because of my weakness. I have major weakness, something that is a disorder in my brain, and I cannot get rid of that. How much, doesn't matter how much I want. It's still there, and it's going to be here the rest of my life. So I have a dyslexia. Oh my God. It's a horrible, horrible thing, because it slows you down big time. Yeah, I'm sure you have heard about this story about the rapid and yeah, correct. Like one is running fast, like no limit. The other one is going slowly but steadily. I'm the one that is going slowly but steadily. So think about this way. So there is a ways that you can deal with it. But don't let that to stop you, because it would be a big waste. Big waste. Strength. Each one of us has a strengths too. Focus on those. Forget about the weaknesses. Okay. Okay, this is already mentioned. Don't allow weaknesses to stop you. And then don't try to be perfect. That's not going to be, human is not perfect. Forget about it. So just do they say that if you're in a scale 4 to 10, which is the scale they use in a Finnish elementary school, if you score 7, that's fantastic. And it is fantastic. So don't try to penalize yourself to be perfect all the time. That's not going to be sustainable. For sure not. All right. Here I'm saying again, this realistic plan, put 40% overhead. 40% overhead. Because people have this tendency to be overly optimistic. So try to be as realistic you can when you're planning. Put 40% top of it. Okay, then mentors, peers, good people. It could be your professor that is helping you in your master thesis. Doesn't matter who it is, but people that can help you. You need that. You really need it. So try to build a good relation with those people. It could be a friend here. It could be this guild. Somebody from the guild. Doesn't matter where the person is coming from, but you need them. Okay, then one more thing was this work hard was already mentioned. Don't get confused about details. Good example about the details is that sometimes people get confused about their scoring 4 out of 5 in simulation of mechatronic machine. And they're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I have no hope in my life. I have absolutely no hope. My life is simply ruined. That's it. 4 out of 5. And I heard the stories like that. The scale 4 out of 5, 4 is very good. And people are like, this is not enough for me. I need to score from every single course. I need to score 5 out of 5. That's a detail that makes no sense. By the way, this is what I learned when I met former students from mechanical engineering. They said that they want to hire people that have scored all the numbers in their courses. All the numbers. Some courses you need to score 1 out of 5. Some courses you need to score 3 out of 5. And some of them you need to score 5 out of 5. They are not willing to hire the person that is scoring 5 out of 5 continuously. Why is this? Because remember this balancing things. Don't try to be perfect. Sometimes there's a subject matter that you don't like. Fine. 1 out of 5 is enough. So it's passed. You can move on. And it's so that you can take it easy in some cases. You can work hard in some cases. That's the more valuable than taking being uptight or having uptight attitude in each one of the courses. So it makes sense. What do you guys think? So if you're going to score 1 out of 5 from simulation and mechatronic machine, fine, because this is obviously not the subject matter that you're interested in. You got to focus on something else. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay. All right. Then, okay, there is some of the things were mentioned already. Okay, so let me move on. Carriers and endurance board. So you need to make sure that you can work in this particular speed long enough. Rest of your life will be the preference. And don't work with your full capacity all the time. It's dangerous. Don't do that. So you need to be able to have a certain reserve in your gas pedal. So don't put the pedal to the metal like they say in the cars all the time. That's not the way to go. You have to have a reserve because every now and then you might need it. So then you can push the pedal to the metal. The rest of the time, you take it easy. Take credits, give credits to yourself and your accomplishment. Like you got the position in LUT University, a very high-ranked university. This is already a nice accomplishment. Practice your interaction, communication skills, practice your cultural skills, make sure that you can live with this place is a fantastic place to practice that because we have students all over the planet, so get to know them all. That will be something that for sure is going to be beneficial for you, for sure. Look, 5 to 10 years ahead. 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years. And what's going to be in 5 to 10 years is a master thesis. Master thesis, like mentioned, this is the first critical decision you need to do. Are you going to stay in academia or are you going to move on to industry? And don't follow your good buddy, good friend. Your friend went to industry or academia, you want to follow. Don't do that. It needs to be decision of your own. Each of the decision is ultimately your decision to make. That's clear. Okay, any comments, questions so far, or should we take a look at the master thesis topic? Clear. Nothing you disagree with me. So you agree everything that I said? Okay. All right, so let's look at the master thesis topic. Okay, I have 4 items here. It's like how to get started, how to find the subject matter, how is the nature of the work, a little bit of instructions to carry out the work, and reporting is the final thing. And we can even skip that because that's not so critical. Rest is more critical. Okay, let's get started from the beginning. So you need to select a topic. And now there is a story that you can select topic multiple times. You can select one topic and see if you're going to like it or not. And if it turns out to be complicated or something, just change it. No, it's not working like that. So the decision that you're going to, when you're selecting your topic, that's it. There is only a very extreme circumstances that you can say change your topic. But put into your mindset that the selection you can do once and once only. And you need to stick on that regardless if you're going to like it or not. I hope that you're going to like it. But again, the selection can be done once only. So where you can get this is from the company. You know, this is the fantastic website is this teekkarintyökirja.fi. You guys are all familiar with this website. You should, because this is the way you can find your summer position, your master companies that are currently looking for master thesis workers and so on and so forth. Extremely useful, extremely useful. Finnish students, I'm sure you know this. Really? You guys are not aware of this thing? Yeah, this is something that you need to log in immediately and take a look at that because they give instructions to multiple different things. Like salary negotiation, like how much salary you expected to get. Take this with because this is a union that is organizing it. So union want to shoot a little bit too high regarding the salaries. And this is something that we will discuss a little bit more momentarily. But what they mention in this particular website is a little bit high in my mind. So I'm sure they're saying that the starting salary is like, you know, I don't know, what 4,000 something, and within the few years it needs to be 10,000. If not, better find a better place to be. So take it easy. Don't take it like exactly what they say. Okay, but extremely useful website for you. It's always a good idea to contact your supervisor. So you guys have to select 2 specialization. Is that correct? So each of the specialization, there are 1 or 2 professors. Most of the cases, 2 professors. Like one of the specialization is digital engineering, where the professors are me and Jussi Sopanen. So now when you guys feel that, okay, I'm ready to get started in my master thesis project, send an email to me and Jussi. Hey, Jussi, no, for me you can send it like that, but Jussi, hey, Professor, dear Professor Jussi Sopanen, I'm here to looking for a master thesis topic. Do you have anything available this time? He may or may not, but it's worth to ask. Okay, and some people are very picky. Some people are saying that, okay, I'm gonna work in a certain cities only, so I can have no options to go like west coast of Finland. Not gonna happen. So if that's a requirement, it's good to tell that in the very beginning. Also, something that is extremely important is that what about the salary? Are you expecting to get the financial compensation or not? Okay, this is a special case. In all the universities that I know, honestly, all the universities that I know, Finland is an exception in a sense that master level students are expected they're expecting to get the financial support when they do their master thesis project. That happens no other place and no other discipline. You go to University of Helsinki and ask from their master thesis workers, like, how much salary you get. They like, how much what I get? They are not aware of this thing. But in technical fields, this university and other universities that are training these master level engineers, it's possible to get the financial support. Now comes the question, how critical is this? And this is, remember what I said, that it makes sense to look 5 to 10 years ahead of you. Sometimes, actually very often, if you call the company and say, hey, here's me, so I'm the one fantastic student, I would like to do my master thesis topic under your supervision in your company. I want to get 10,000 euros each month as a financial compensation. They will say, thank you very much, let's keep in touch. Meaning that for sure we're not going to keep in touch. We're never going to meet anymore. So go easy with it. Go easy. And remember this. This work is for you to learn new skills. So I don't even get this thing, why it is so critical to get the financial compensation from your master thesis project. Because the winner, regardless how you're going to do it, is going to be you, for sure. You're going to be the one that is getting, first of all, you're going to get the degree. That's a big deal, very big deal. You're going to learn new skills, another big deal. So even if the financial compensation is not that great, so what? Or if there's no financial compensation at all. How it usually goes, it goes in such a way that you can get sometimes they make a contract in the companies directly, you and the company, they make a contract. The funniest thing is this, every now and then a student is calling me and say, hey, I have a little bit of problem. And I get very worried, okay, what's your big problem? My salary is too low. And can you call my supervisor and try to get me a bigger salary? No, I cannot do that. This is between you and the company. We, as a university employees, we never come to help you in that regard. One possibility is that you get the money from company directly. Another very often used possibility is support foundation. And the support foundation works like this. Company gives the donation to support foundation. And the support foundation gets very happy because this donation, and gets so happy that it decided to open the master thesis topic in a field that was defined by the company. And then you apply this position, and if you're going to get it, you're going to get the scholarship. Scholarship is tax-free. So that's a benefit from the scholarship. It comes with a little bit of risk to companies because as it is a donation and as it is a scholarship, if you take the money and run, nothing we can do. You just go and disappear and take the money. That's then the company is calling us and they are very unhappy. So why is my money? I want to get my money back. You cannot get the money back because it was a donation. That really never happens, but it's a possibility. And sometimes the companies are very worried about that. Also, their NDAs is a little hard to deal with if you're going to do it this way. Because if there is a major disclosure innovation during your course of master thesis project, who is going to own that? Is it going to be you or the company? That sometimes can be a little bit of a complicated situation. Okay, industry. What's a big benefit to do your master thesis in industry? Of course, it's the fact that people are using the master thesis project as a trial period to see whether or not you're the person they're looking for. So the easiest way to get into the industry is to do your thesis to one of the companies. And doesn't really matter where the company is located at. So that's really the way to demonstrate, yes, look at me, I'm this good student. So it makes sense to hire me right after the thesis is done. And typically, they do so. They really do so. The same is used in university too. So if you're looking for a position as a doctoral student, you really need to impress your supervisor. And the best way to do that is to do your master thesis project under a certain professor and then make him or her to be astonished. That's the way to go. This location is not so relevant anymore, so not very big thing. But topic selection. It's good to know like all the responsibilities. Like I said, sometimes companies are using this as a trial period. And the topic is not real. It's just something that, let's just see if this guy can do something for us. And the thesis topic is, do something for us. And that's going to make your life very, very complicated because it's not well defined. How you going to write it? Because you cannot write the thesis, I was hanging around and I did something in a company. That's not possible because it needs to be well structured. And sometimes it's not well structured from the company. They just want to test you, nothing else. And even when they wanted to test you, there should be a clear need to do your thesis project. And that's good to take into account. Also, what are the other things that they're expecting you to do? Because sometimes they say, yo, okay, so we're going to hire you, and you have every other Friday afternoon time to do your thesis project. Every other Friday afternoon, you can spend time to do your master thesis project. So it means that in a month, you can spend like 4 hours to do your master thesis project. Think about it. Do the math, like how many years it takes to finalize your thesis project. 10 years. Not nice. Forget about the places like that. It's not a good idea. Okay, like mentioned, salary. What is this related to? It's good to keep in mind. And how is it going to make you stronger? But only select the subject matter that you have the knowledge needed. So if there is like very extensive topic in a finite element method, you have never heard about finite element method, don't go. Don't go this direction because it's not going to land well. It's not going to go well. Okay, yeah, this was the last thing. Like, do you really have the knowledge to carry the work? And then I mentioned already that you can select the topic once, and topic is not defining your grade. Sometimes there's a myth that you select the topic that is the most theoretical ever. You're going to score a 5 out of 5 regardless what you're going to do. And if you're going to select something that is practically oriented, your max is 3 out of 5. That's not true. The topic is not defining your grade. You can score high or low regardless your topic. Okay, salary. So it's more, if you want to learn more about the scholarship, is this Tukisäätiö. So the Support Foundation, LUT University. So take a look at that. So take a look at how they're operating and mention this to companies because company is the one that need to initiate the process. You cannot. You can only deliver the message, but you cannot initiate the project. Salary from the company, salary from the university, no salary. No salary. It's not a bad option because if you look 5 to 10 years ahead of you, this could be the way to squeeze into one of the 3 work in your life. And then you can make some money, some serious money. I understand the money is an issue, and each one of us, we need the money. So that's clear. But go easy. Go easy. Don't allow the money to stop your dream. Okay, that was the beginning, nature of the work. This is 6 months, max. Not more than that. So try to make the mindset the 6 months max, no more, and not longer than that, independent work. And the idea is to demonstrate your maturity, that you have the knowledge, you have the skills to carry out something by yourself. And you have the capabilities to solve large problems by yourself. So it usually goes like this. There's a kickoff meeting, and then there's meetings after 1 or 2 months. There could be emails that your supervisor is expecting to see the progress of your work via emails. But this is good to keep in mind that it's good to respect those deadlines because they help you to write and finalize your thesis. But the max length, 6 months. There are exceptional cases that is a little longer than that, but usually it leads to low quality master thesis project. The better ones are the ones that the work is actually completed within the required 6 months time. 6 months is not much, but 6 months, as it is a short period of time, allows you to show how good you are because you can pretend to be a better person easily in a 6 months time. And then you can go back to yourself after that time. But this is the way you can squeeze into a company, you can go to academia and so on and so forth. And I've been saying that, master thesis project is meant to hurt mentally and physically. You don't need to take it that seriously, but make a good level of commitment. Something that now I really want to show how good I am. Okay. Instructions to carry out the work. So there is just a few things. This is something that if there's a kickoff meeting, I hope that each of the supervisors in LUT are giving the same story. So you need to create the table of content. This is extremely important. You need to use that as some kind of like a Gantt chart or something that helps you to scheduling your timing. And good thesis consists of 5 chapters. And like I said, you need to monitor your time, how you're spending your time. Once you build your table of content, it's a fantastic way to monitor how is it you actually spending your time. Because if every day you're leaving back home, you're writing, I've been doing the introduction section, and so on and so forth. After 3 months' time, when you look back, you realize, oh my God, I've been in the introduction section way too long. You should have an alarm bell ringing in your head. And that's something that helps you to move on to other subject matters, or if nothing else, looking for help. Okay. Kickoff meeting is extremely important. So this is something that you're defining why this work is needed. Why it is needed. It's extremely important to understand objective. Why you want to spend 6 months' time to finalize the problem, whatever that may be. And do the high quality literature review in the very beginning. It's extremely sad cases that the thesis is fantastic and the worker is very happy, but one thing is missing is a literature review. Okay, so it's a time to finalize it, and before I finalize, I do my literature review. And then the student goes to literature and realize that, oh my God, there's exactly like my thesis, but better. What am I gonna do? That's hurt. That physically hurts a lot, and it happens every now and then. You need to be aware what's out there to be able to adjust your work based on what's already known. Okay, and it's very important to start preparing the manuscript from the very beginning. First day, put something in a writing. If nothing else, use the diary. And if you want, you can get the diary with the lock, and it can be purple in the color or whatever you want. And you can write, dear diary, today this and that, or just like a simple notes, whatever you want. But prepare the manuscript in the very beginning. Remember, this is just a one course. Sometimes people have this belief that this planet will start to rotate in a reverse direction because of this work. It will not. It will not. It's just a one course, nothing else. Okay. So these are the players, student instructors from the company, from university, supervisors. So these are all playing in the same game. Now here's this important thing. So they are in your team. So don't look at the supervisor, don't look at the professor as your enemy, but as somebody that is helping you to complete the work. And now here's another urban myth. Every now and then I hear this thing that if you're going to call or if you're going to reach out to the professor, every time you do so, your grade will go down by one number. So if you send 2 emails to your professor, your max is a 3 out of 5. Not true. You can call and you can email as many times you want. So if you have a problem, your player and your teammate is your professor. Email and ask, hey, I don't know what to do here. I'm not sure how to construct my method section. Can you give me an advice? Why not? Makes sense. He or she will give you an advice. Okay, the reporting is the last thing. Any notes, any comments so far? Okay, the last thing is reporting. This is going to be fast. Like I mentioned, each of the good thesis work consists of 5 chapters. 5 chapters where there's an introduction, method, results, discussion, conclusions. In introduction, one of the most critical is objective. Why this work is made. And then make it in a way that you can read the introduction, you read the objectives, you jump to conclusion and see whether or not you were able to reach the objectives, how well you were able to do so, anything that was missing, anything that was overdone or anything like that. This is how the thesis should be constructed. In a worst case, conclusion and introduction are not related. Particular objectives and conclusions are not related, which is awful. Really, really bad. But it happens because humans have this tendency to forget. Even I do that sometimes, forgetting things. So the memory is not great in a people. So when that happens, that can lead to very, very unfortunate situation where the story is not consistent. Here are the things like we are expecting to be in introduction. And the most important section is the subheading in introduction, which is objective. Objective of the work. You can put like 1.1 objective of the work, and then you explain the objectives in a measurable way. How is it you can measure the success of your work or failure of your work? What are the ways you can make it happen? So define that in the very beginning. Then comes the the method section. And in the method section, you're introducing the tools that you're going to use to solve the problem, but not yet jumping the actual problem, but introducing, okay, these are the methods, these are the tools that I'm momentarily going to use to fix the problem. That will be introduced in a section number 3. And the section number 3 is a results. And it's hard not to mix it. Very often people started to explain the subject matter or the application itself in a method section, whereas it needs to be something general where you're introducing the tools that can be solved the problem of your particular thesis or the thesis that is closely related to yours. So try to keep it in this way. And then comes the discussion, which is the hardest and most valuable section in terms of grading, because usually people are tired. They're fed up with the work and life and everything when they reach in the conclusion section. And now you should make like big observation, interpretation, and so on and so forth, but you're tired. And because you're tired, the discussion section is only the 1 page, 2 pages max. Not good. Because this is where you actually use your brains to make an observation. What you learn, what was the deal, what was something that is a meaningful out from your work. And then the last one is simply the conclusions. So what you did as a summary, most important results, and any recommendation for future work. Sometimes not necessarily needed this recommendation for future work, but sometimes it's so that the life is never perfect and the life is never ready. There is always some kind of need to continue from whatever you accomplished. Something that I see a lot is over-marketing. People are saying just the positive things about the work they do. That's not good. Because remember, you're supposed to be mature enough that you can look things in an objective way. An objective way is that you can say, okay, this work is carrying these positive aspects and these negative aspects. It really is hard to look at your work in a way that there is something that is not perfect. But if able to do that, that's typically super positive in terms of grading, because it shows that, yes, I understand this is a piece of work, but more is needed to make this planet to be ready, and that's difficult. Okay, figures, make sure that you're always citing the figures, make sure that the headings is corresponding to its content. Easy to say, harder to do. And recommendation that we're giving to each of the, not master level students, but the doctoral students, is that before it started to write, make something that is called the plot, storyline of the thesis. And each of the paragraphs should be explained by simple topic sentence. Simple topic sentence that say, okay, this paragraph is telling me this, second one is this, and so on and so forth. And when you look at these topic sentences, you make sure that the paragraph is not carrying more than one simple information. And also you make sure that you are not repeating matters, because that happens also very easily, that you are explaining something about the tire in the beginning of the work, then a little bit more about the tire in the middle of the work, in the end of the work you're explaining a little more about the tires. Not cool. So you should explain things once in a thorough way, once only. Okay, use a passive voice, no jokes. We have never laughed when we're reading these theses. Sometimes, it is true that we are crying, but not because of the happiness, but because of the sadness. It's not the comedy book. So don't try to be funny or clever or anything like that. It may be funny and clever in your mind, but the reader, no, it's not working like that. Use exact engineering language, which is very, very difficult. Words like quite, very are not allowed. If you say quite big, not cool. You need to say how big it is. Give it a number. Give me a number. Don't say, oh, there's a very big building. No, that's not cool. You need to say the building with the 10 floors or something like that, this many cubic meters. This is an exact engineering language, quite very. There are many other words that are not allowed. You just cannot use them because they are more like a spoken language, not boring engineering language. Okay, also another thing, try to avoid the uncompromised language. All machines, this and that. Careful with that because there may be an exception. My first doctoral student was Jussi Sopanen. Jussi wrote a fantastic dissertation. It was beautiful. I was crying when I was reading it. We were both crying because it was so beautiful. And then came a public defense. And a good friend of mine, Jose Escalona, was an opponent. And there was one single statement in his thesis that said, like, the method can be only used in this application. And of course, Jose noticed it. And he said, so you say that it can be only used in this kind of application. So are you sure about that? Have you looked at your literature? And of course, he was able to find an exception for that. So it would be so much easier to say that it's typically used or something like that. But it was a clear example about uncompromised language. And because of that, he suffered a lot. So it helps not to be uncompromised, but say, most of the cases, this and that, because there is always this exception. So careful with the heavy statements, because if you do the heavy statement, you need to be 110% sure that is a true statement. Okay, unspecific statement, quite large, is not good. Do not mix languages. Sometimes you mix like Python, English, Finnish, not allowed. Not allowed. Go easy with the effects. Don't mix tenses. So let's see. Was this the last one? This was my last one. Okay, that was about the career counseling and master thesis project. Anything you want to discuss, or should we close the class? What do you guys say? Any comments from online participants? Yes, sir.
What are the advantages if you move to academia, because you say that it requires total dedication and salaries are quite low as compared to industry. So, but what are the advantages?
Okay, so why it makes sense to stay in academia? Because it's beautiful. Think about running a business of your own without having a risk of making a bankruptcy. That's what it is. All the freedom. Okay, here I need to take this back because, there's like, university is a little bit like this pyramid. The sweet spot of the pyramid is be a full professor. Full professor can do whatever he or she wants. No limitation. You can do whatever you want. Anything below, like even associate level professor, not so great. It's okay, but it's not as beautiful as a full professor. Assistant level professor, okay, but that they all want to be a full professor because it's a sweet spot. Anything above, not cool. Dean, no, you do just you need to obey your rector. You need to follow. You need to make sure that the professor, which is almost like training cats, are doing what you want. That's not going to work out. So it's a hard position. Dean, so on and so forth, not cool. But professor, there's nothing better than that. Running your own business, do whatever you want without the risk of bankruptcy. How about that? And also there is a big mental difference between academia and industry. And the mental difference is this: you learn to get new skills to yourself. So you get this mental capacity that you can, every time you want, you can walk away and take it with you. Whereas in a company, you work for the company. And you cannot take a product of your company with you. That's, oh, you can, but then the police will call you, and that's not going to be pleasant. So it's going to be criminal action. But legally, this you can take everything you have produced with you in academia. Good question. Was there anything from online participants?
So what kind of qualities does a professor look for any student, for a student to hire him as a doctoral position?
So how professors are selecting doctoral students?
What sort of qualities do they look for?
I asked this question a little while ago from the really famous professor from US. And I asked, like, how is that you're selecting good students? And the answer was, by luck. And I was like, seriously? Yes, by luck. Okay, it cannot be purely based on luck. But basically what they're looking for is an attitude, like how is your level of commitment. So whatever you do, don't do this. Don't come to meeting late. At least in Finland, it's a clear insult. So it's saying that, okay, I don't respect your time. So let's say that the meeting is at 10 o'clock, you show up at 10:15. You shouldn't even go in that case. You just better build an excuse strong enough and send an email. You know, something horrible happened to me and I was unable to come to see you at this time, because being that much late is not going to be good. It's not going to be very good. And don't try to say, okay, in an interview, don't say that, yes, but what about my summer vacation? Can I have my extended summer vacation? You might think this, but don't say that in loud. It's okay to think it, but you need to pretend. At least don't bring this issue up. You say, yeah, I'm going to work hard. Deep in your mind, you think, okay, once I get this position, finally I can spend some extended holidays in my dream place to be. That's okay. You can do that, but don't say that in loud. But what's the quality that they're looking for? I think it is the same that I mentioned about this one guy in industry. They're hiring person, scoring each of the numbers in the classes, 1, 3, and 5. Something that some of the courses, they don't care. Like one of the courses that I noticed, I don't know how it is at the moment, but this is so that the Swedish, which is a mandatory subject matter for Finnish students, is still graded by number, isn't it? Yeah. Number. If you score 1 out of 5 in Swedish language, that's okay. You're not going to die because of that. You just say that I'm not a big fan of that language, simple like that. Maybe other subject matters that if you score low, doesn't really matter. But attitude, what matters the most. Sometimes this is another hint to you. You know, typically when we have an open call to hire a new doctoral student, there is an online interview. And in the very beginning of the online interview, we say, okay, why don't you introduce yourself, and you have 2 minutes time to do that. And then when the 2 minutes is passed, we say nothing. Then the 3 minutes is passed, we say nothing. Then we started to WhatsApp to each other. Hey, look at this guy. So he really wanted to take this really like extensive way. When the 5 minutes is passed, we still say nothing. But then we're sending messages, we are not going to hire this person. So if they say 2 minutes, it means 2 minutes. And it's not going to be impressive that you spend 10 minutes instead of 2. So that's another hint. Don't be late. Respect what is being told. If they say 2 minutes, keep it 2 minutes. You might think that, okay, it's going to show my dedication and my excitement that I'm spending 10 minutes. No, not like that. Okay, anything else?
About the module selections, do you think it's better to choose 2 like individual modules that you're both interested in, or choose one that you're especially interested in, and then choose another that is good to collaborate with them?
Yeah, that's a good one, because it's the specialization. So how to select the specialization in a proper way? Okay, so this is a hard question, because of course if there's something that you like, it's natural to select the subject matter and not the specialization that is supporting it. but not completely opposite. Like what could be a completely like production engineering and uses opponents digital engineering. They are this much away from each other. They have nothing to do with each other. Is that a bad choice? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Particularly if you're looking for position in the industry, it would be okay still to do this a little bit unorthodox selection. In academia, yes, then it makes sense to collect the subject matters that are supporting itself to make yourself to be strong enough in area that is close to where you want to do your thesis work, doctoral thesis work. Good question, but it's really hard to give this answer. But it doesn't really hurt if you do if you're going to select it in a one topic here, another one here. Okay, anything else?
So I have a question.
Yes.
With the title of in Finland we have PhD and BSc.
Right. Yeah. So PhD is a Doctor of Philosophy, which we don't do in mechanical engineering because we are not doing philosophy, but we are doing the Doctor of Science in Technology. So the technology each of the doctors produce in mechanical engineering are Doctor of Science in Technology, not PhD. They are equivalent. There is no difference, but there is a mental difference because mathematicians and subject matters like that, physics, so on and so forth, they give this PhD. So we give this Doctor of Science in Technology.
I think in Holland they have another PhD program called
D-Inch. Doctor of Engineering. So what?
Holland, maybe.
In Holland. Yeah, right. So it ranges a little bit from one country to another, but it's equivalent than in US the PhD.
It's in Germany as well, like
So, but in Germany, also the thing that they have is, they have something that is called habilitation, which is once you have completed your doctor degree, some 5 to 10 years from that, you can make another degree, which gives you to make yourself to be eligible to get the position as a professor in universities. In Finland, we don't. We don't have anything like that. Okay. Good discussion. Yes.
How much time from the beginning of the doctoral to the full-time profession?
Okay, that's a good question. So how long it takes you to be in the sweet spot?
How much effort?
Okay, so let's do the count. So from the doctoral students, it's going to be 3.5 years. Okay, after 3.5 years, you might need, let's say, a year and a half, 2 years as a postdoc. Let's put it as an extreme, like a 2.5. So then it's going to be 6 years. Then you're assistant level professor. Assistant level professor is typically 4 years time. Then you're associate level professor. So now it's 10 years. And associate level professor to full professor, 14 years. It's a long time. I know that it sounds like, okay, for you guys particularly, it sounds like, okay, that's never going to happen to me. But it's and maybe I need to correct my statement, it's just a sweet spot. Other spots are sweet too, but the sweetest is a full professor. Other positions are good too, because again, doesn't matter what you do, even when a doctoral student, you're the one that is gaining the new knowledge, new skills, and you put yourself in another level. Postdoc, same thing. You are the one that is learning. You're taking everything to your head. That is, if somebody's not cutting your neck, you can take it with you all the time. Okay, anything else?
How much is important to, let's say you say that when you do the thesis in the industry, it's let's say expected that you remain in the industry.
Yes.
But how much is important this statement? I mean, do the thesis in the industry, can you also get back to the academia?
Yes, you can get back to the academia. I have multiple students, doctoral students, that did their master thesis work in industry, and then they decided to come back. So it's possible. It is possible. But typically we're hiring two typical ways we're hiring. We are hiring among the master thesis workers or through the open calls. Those are the typical ways. In open calls, it doesn't really matter where you got your degree or where you did your thesis, you're still eligible to apply. And I'm hoping that university would use more of these open calls because it will be a good marketing to university. Some of the doctoral students' positions are filled without this open call, and I feel a little bit bad about that. Then the worries is that, yeah, we're going to get so many candidates that it's going to be a big headache. It's not going to be a big headache because you can recognize or you can differentiate the good candidates from the rest with reasonable effort. Okay. Is this it? No.
Last one. If you're doing thesis from the industry, so can we get a co-supervisor from one of our professor in the university as well?
Yeah, as it always goes, is that the way that the first evaluator will come from the university. That must be a professor or associate level professor. Those are the rules we have currently. We are currently expanding. There's a discussion that will be expanded to assistant level professors as well. But those will be the ones that will evaluate and they will be engaged to your work, like it or not. Always somebody's coming from university. And it's good to keep somebody in a university in a loop. Because they are the ones that are evaluating your work eventually. So that's why.
What about the master thesis? Does it have any defense?
No, we don't have it. You just put it in a writing. Once everything is done, then once you feel that your work is ready, then it goes to under the plagiarism and visual appearance checking. So it needs to have a certain kind of the visual appearance and need to be able to pass the plagiarism check. And if that's the case, then you can upload it to the notebook. That's it. You're done. No presentation needed. It used to be such that it was a presentation, but there was such a few audience. The audience was really thin, so they decided not to have it anymore. Even though that some of the students were forced to follow, but still they were like this all the time. Not happy. Okay, guys. Are you guys now happy? Okay, I'm happy too. This is it. We're going to see in a corridor, and when we see it, remember this. Respect. I will be more than happy if we see in a Prisma or any other place and you say respect. And my wife is always like, what is this again? So what do you have done in a university? So it's a secret. It's a secret club. Okay, guys. See you around.